Welcome to part 2 of the Post-OPT online workshop. This video is intended for F1 students who have already viewed the Post-OPT part 1 online instructions for F1 students video and have received their Post-OPT I-20 and documents from the IESE office. If you need to learn about what OPT is, determine eligibility requirements, and identify deadlines, please view the Post-OPT Part 1 online instructions for F1 students video. This section of the video provides you with the steps you must take to submit your Post-OPT application to USCIS and important information that you will need to consider after you mail your Post-OPT application to USCIS. In addition, brief information about H-1B and the H-1B cap gap will be addressed. Once you receive an email from your FSA, you will come to the IESE office to pick up your Post-OPT I-20. This I-20 has your Post-OPT endorsed on page 2, as well as the date the FSA printed your Post-OPT I-20. You will sign the Student Attestation section. Please note that you will keep the original Post-OPT I-20. Do not mail the original Post-OPT I-20 to USCIS. You will need to make a copy of your original Post-OPT I-20, which you will include in your packet to mail to USCIS. Now that you have picked up your Post-OPT I-20 and documents from the IESE office, you must do the following to complete the Post-OPT application process. Prepare a check or money order of $30 made payable to the Department of Homeland Security. Please write for Post-OPT on the memo line and your SEVIS ID number on the top of the check. In addition, you will need 2 identical U.S. passport-size photos to add to your application packet. You will need to write your name and I-94 number along the back edge of the photos. Please do not staple the photos directly to the Post-OPT packet. Put them in a small envelope. You will then put your documents in this order from top to bottom. Form G1145, Form I-765, photocopy of your Post-OPT I-20, photocopy of your electronic I-94, photocopy of your passport identification page or pages, photocopy of previously issued I-20s if you had CPT recommendation, photocopy of previously issued I-20s if you had OPT recommendation, photocopy of any previously issued EAD card or cards if applicable. You will staple the check or money order and envelope with passport photographs at the top of your G1145 form. Please see the illustration of the order of your documents. At the top will be Form G1145, following Form I-765. Photocopy of your Post-OPT I-20, photocopy of your electronic I-94, photocopy of your passport identification page or pages, photocopy of previously issued I-20s if you had CPT recommendation, photocopy of previously issued I-20s if you had OPT recommendation, photocopy of any previously issued EAD card or cards if applicable. You will then staple the check or money order and envelope with passport photographs at the top of your G1145 form. Once you have placed all the documents in order and have stapled them together, then you are ready to mail your package to USCIS. You want to mail the post-OPT packet immediately because USCIS will need to receive your post-OPT application within 30 days from the date appearing in the school attestation section of your I-20. USCIS will deny your post-OPT packet if they receive it more than 30 days from the date the post-OPT I-20 was issued, and if received more than 60 days following your program completion date, whichever is earlier. If USCIS denies your application, they will not return your filing fees. Before putting your application in the mail, take another look to make sure that your post-OPT packet has all the documents listed in the OPT application packet mailing checklist, available in the post-OPT section of the IESE website. Ready to mail your post-OPT packet. It is recommended that you make a photocopy of your entire post-OPT application for your reference, and that you mail the completed original post-OPT packet to the USCIS address as indicated in the I-765 direct filing instructions on the USCIS website. If your address is located in California as you indicated on your I-765 form, you will mail your post-OPT packet to the USCIS Arizona lockbox facility. If you have an address outside of California, you may need to mail your post-OPT application to a different USCIS lockbox facility. Please refer to the I-765 direct filing instructions at the USCIS website. U.S. Postal Service. If you live in California and will mail your post-OPT packet using the U.S. Postal Service or certified mail return receipt, please mail your post-OPT packet to USCIS, P.O. Box 21281, Phoenix, Arizona 85036. Express mail or courier service. If you live in California and will be using express mail or a courier service, please mail your post-OPT packet to USCIS, attention AOS, 1820 East Sky Harbor Circle S, Suite 100, Phoenix, Arizona 85034. Now that you have mailed your post-OPT application to USCIS, we ask that you do the following. Carefully review all correspondence from USCIS. After mailing your post-OPT application to USCIS, you should get 3 pieces of mail from USCIS: a receipt, I-797 Notice of Action, an approval notice, and the EAD, Employment Authorization Document card. The I-797 Notice of Action contains your name and date of birth. If the information on this receipt is not correct, call the customer service number listed on the receipt right away for corrections. If you receive a request for evidence, RFE, notify the IESE office immediately, as you must respond quickly to this time-sensitive request. Track the status of your post-OPT application. Your receipt I-797 Notice of Action will contain a case number. You may go to the USCIS website to check the case status of your application. You can also sign up for email updates on your case status. Approval notice and EAD card received. Once your post-OPT has been approved and you have the EAD card in your possession, you may only begin working within the date specified on the EAD card. For example, if you get your EAD card on June 30th and the start date on the EAD card is July 10th, you must wait until July 10th to start working. Please note that the approval of your post-OPT application may require months of processing before an EAD card is issued. Processing times vary and change frequently. We recommend you visit the USCIS website for current processing times. Social Security number. To lawfully work in the United States, you will need both an employment authorization document from USCIS and a Social Security number from the Social Security Administration. Previously, applicants needed to submit Form I-765 to USCIS for an EAD and then submit additional paperwork in person at their local Social Security office to obtain an SSN. USCIS has revised Form I-765 and includes additional questions that allow you to apply for an SSN without visiting a Social Security office. Students who receive their approved EADs from USCIS should receive their Social Security card from the Social Security Administration within the following 2 weeks. Contact your FSA. If you fail a required class and a result, you are not able to graduate as planned. If you have not received the EAD card within 90 days from the date shown on the I-797 Notice of Action. If you are not able to mail your post-OPT application to USCIS within the 30 days of the date the post-OPT I-20 was issued. If you lose your EAD card, you will need to reapply for a replacement EAD card to USCIS with all required documents and fees. Please pay close attention to the next section of this video, as it applies to those who are on approved post-OPT. You must stay in contact with the IESC office to report the following required information via the IESC website. Go to the IESC website to report your personal information such as current U.S. address, telephone number, and email address. You must also report your employer information such as the name of your employer, address, employer identification number, your job title, start date of employment, and any interruption to employment. You will also need to report your supervisor's name and contact information. You must also describe, in a few sentences, how your current position is related to your field of study. You should explain how the position draws on knowledge gained and developed during your academic program. For example, you may cite specific coursework, research, or lab work that has provided you with fundamental knowledge that you use in your job duties. While on approved post-OPT, you are required to report your personal information and post-OPT employer information within 10 days that there is a change. To report your post-OPT information, please go to the OPT reporting section in the post-OPT section of the IESC website. Please make sure to also email a copy of your EAD card front and back to iesc@csun.edu. When emailing your EAD card, please include your name and CSUN ID number in the subject title of your email. Warning: SEVIS records of students who fail to report their information within the required time will be automatically terminated by the Department of Homeland Security. Contact your FSA if you change your immigration status, for example, F to H-1B or J-1, or others. If you decide to stop your approved post-OPT and return to your home country. If you are unemployed for more than 90 days. 90-day unemployment rule. The OPT regulations set an aggregate limit of 90 days of unemployment during the dates listed on the EAD. Students who acquire more than 90 days of unemployment will be considered out of status. Please contact an FSA if you are nearing your 90th day of unemployment to confirm your future plans. Types of employment allowed during post-OPT. Employment activities include regular paid work, payment by multiple short-term employers, consulting firms, working as an independent contractor, working through an agency, self-employment, and volunteer or unpaid positions. For volunteer or unpaid positions, you need to work full-time, 20 hours or more per week. Keep detailed records of your work history for paid, unpaid, and self-employment. These records can include offer letters, contracts, pay stubs, or copies of paychecks and deposits. If you are self-employed, you should retain business licenses and plans as appropriate. You should seek out unpaid volunteer opportunities in your field of study to stop and avoid the 90-day clock if necessary. Please contact your FSA for additional information. Traveling when your post-OPT is pending and approved. Be sure to travel with the correct documents. The EAD contains the statement, "Not valid for re-entry." This means that you cannot use the EAD card alone to return to the United States. You must have valid immigration documents in order to re-enter the United States. If you need to travel outside the United States while your post-OPT application is pending, you will need the following documents to re-enter the United States. Valid OPT I-20 with a travel signature on page 2. The travel signature must be less than 6 months old at the time of re-entry to the United States. Valid passport. Your passport must be valid at least 6 months into the future. Valid F-1 visa. Students with an expired F-1 visa must contact the U.S. consulate or embassy in their home country to renew their F-1 visa prior to their return to the United States. The I-797 Notice of Action payment receipt from USCIS or e-notification of application acceptance. If you need to travel outside the United States while on approved post-OPT, you will need the following documents to re-enter the United States. Valid OPT I-20 with a travel signature on page 2. The travel signature must be less than 6 months old at the time of re-entry to the United States. Valid passport. Your passport must be valid at least 6 months into the future. Valid F-1 visa. Students with an expired F-1 visa must contact the U.S. consulate or embassy in their home country to renew their F-1 visa prior to their return to the United States. The EAD card issued by USCIS. An offer of employment or verification of employment on company letterhead is recommended. Before traveling, we ask that you do the following. Consult your FSA if you plan to travel before you have a job. If you are traveling to a country that is not your own, please confirm the entry visa requirement for that country well in advance by contacting the embassy or consulate of the particular country. Check to be certain that your F-1 status is in good standing. Check to be certain that your F-1 visa will still be valid at the time of your re-entry to the United States, and that you apply for a new visa if your current visa has expired or will expire. Visit the IESC office to obtain a new travel signature if needed. If you are away from California, email your FSA for information on how to obtain the travel signature. Options after post-OPT. Your post-OPT period will end on the date indicated on the EAD. At the end of the post-OPT, you can select one of the following options. Must be done within 60 days of the EAD expiration date. Return to your home country. Apply and get admitted to CSUN for a new degree level. International admissions will issue you a new I-20. apply and get admitted to a new program at another school, and request to transfer your SEVIS record to the new school. Please note, if you transfer your SEVIS record to another school and start a new program prior to the expiration of your post-OPT, you will forfeit the remaining post-OPT period. Change status within the United States. For example, H-1B work visa. H-1B visa and CAP-GAP extension. H-1B is a work visa that is sponsored by an employer. Students commonly transition from OPT, still in F1 status, to H-1B status. There are a limited number of H-1Bs available each fiscal year for most employers, and this limit is often called the H-1B cap. New H-1Bs become effective each October 1st. But the application period for most employers begins 6 months earlier, April 1st. The cap-gap occurs when a student's F1 status and/or OPT expire before their approved H-1B begins, October 1. The H-1B cap-gap extension allows certain students with pending or approved H-1B petitions to remain in the United States in F1 status until the start date of their approved H-1B employment period, even if the OPT authorization and/or F1 grace period would have otherwise expired before October 1. Here you see the H-1B cap-gap. New H-1Bs become effective each October 1st, but the application period for most employers begins 6 months earlier, April 1st. If your OPT authorization is expired, but you are in your 60-day grace period when your employer submits your H-1B petition to USCIS, your F1 status is extended. You cannot work, but you can remain in the United States through the extension date. For example, take a look at the yellow section. If you are within your 60-day grace period during April, and you have a pending or approved H-1B petition, your F1 status will be extended until start of your approved H-1B. You cannot work, but you can remain in the United States. If your post-OPT authorization is still valid when your employer submits your H-1B petition to USCIS, your OPT authorization is extended. You can continue working in F1 status through the extension date. For example, take a look at the blue section. If you are on approved post-OPT during May and you have a pending or approved H-1B petition, you can continue to work with your post-OPT F1 status until your H-1B status begins. Remember, new H-1Bs become effective each October 1st. To request an I-20 with cap-gap extension, you will need to contact your FSA at the IESE office. Please make sure you have a copy of your USCIS H-1B application receipt before contacting your FSA. Please note that the extension of duration of status and work authorization would automatically terminate upon the rejection, denial, or revocation of the H-1B petition filed. Please contact the IESE office if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you for watching. The IESE office wishes you all the best in the next phase of your life.